What's up, boys? This is Dual Factor once again, another video, and I'm going to give you a regional report from the past regional I went to this Sunday at St. Louis. I was able to finally get my invite, so it honestly feels pretty good after not getting it last season to get it again this season, so that way I can just go to all these other events and not actually have to worry about it. It's not a huge achievement in Yu-Gi-Oh! By any means. But it's for this season, it's a personal achievement for me to actually get it, so I feel really good about it. I did play Altergeist again, and I did change the list up a little bit from the last one that you saw from Indianapolis. But enough about that. I'm going to go ahead and get into the profile of what I played, and then I'll go ahead and talk about some of my rounds after the profile, give you guys an idea of what I played. But, anywho, on to the list. We played 3 copies of Marionettor. This is pretty standard by now, especially from all the profiles that you've seen. But he sets your traps. Multi-Faker is your tour guide when you resolve traps. Milliseek clears the boards, and it searches all your guys out of your deck when it goes to the graveyard. So, let me go ahead and move this. There we go. Get it a little bit more centered. Anyway, yeah. That's the main 9 Altergeists. And then this time, even though I don't like this card that much, we went ahead and bumped it up to 2 Silquitus. The thing I found is, even though this card's horrible, you still want to be able to open up an Altergeist monster. Especially if you open up like the trap cards and stuff like that, because the trap cards still work with it, and you'd rather have this than have a non-Altergeist card in your hand, especially if you draw into personal spoofing. So there's that, and then I'm also playing the one Concurry. I'm still not a fan of this card, but I'm to the point where I think it's necessary to play. So we're playing that for now. It wasn't great, and it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either, so we might continue to play it, we might not. But for now, this is what I played. So then, on the hand traps, we're still playing 3 copies of Ash. I think this is infinitely more important now, especially with the popularity of Magical Midfield Breaker. This being one of the only hand traps that you can use against Goki when they have that field spell, it's actually really important. And that's why I opted to play this. Same reason why I also just went back to playing Cherries in the main. Is because it's one of the only hand traps you can play, again, that isn't stopped by Magical Midfield Breaker. But the fun fact about this is this entire regional, I actually didn't play a single Goki, and I think I only saw 2 Goki players at the event the entire time, just from what I saw going back and forth. So, if I would have had that type of insight, I wouldn't have played this lineup of hand traps. But, like I said, this is what I played for the event, and I should have known better with the declining popularity in Goki. But there's that, and on to the spells. I actually played 4 this time, so we still played the 3-Potted Duality. I think this is the best way to sift through cards in your deck. It just ups your consistency to play it. And then I played 1-1-for-1. I got this idea from the OCG. It's another way to start your game up. It's like playing a 4th copy of Milliseek. The thing is with this card, though, especially with the popularity of Ash and whatnot, you have to hold it. Because if it's your only play in hand, or not only play in hand, but if you commit to this play too soon, then you just lose the game instantly by not paying attention. So it's one of those cards that you have to hold until it's your last available play to you. Because if you try hitting with 1-for-1, you'll just lose it instantly. So there's a lot of games I would open it, but I would hold it 2 or 3 turns before I actually played it, especially if I thought my opponent had a hand trap. But that's it for the spells. On to the traps. We're still playing 3 Protocol. A lot of people are cutting this at 2, and I considered it. But it's still it's still the case of it works with itself if you draw multiple copies of it. So that's why I played 3. And then I played 1 Manifestation. And being able to recycle it with Silquitus, so on and so forth, made it really easy to just play 1 copy. And I never really needed to be perfectly honest. And then we played 3 copies of Personal Spoofing. I never once saw this card, so I don't know what it's like to play with Personal Spoofing, but in theory, it's really good. And then I played 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. It's the best card to work with Multi-Faker. It does have the power of Magical Midfield Breaker, but against everything else, it's really good. It's still terrible against Trickstar Sky Striker, which I played 1, but doesn't really matter. And then I played 3 copies of Strike. And then this time we also played 1 copy of Judgment. This card was really good for me the entire event. It wasn't just one random matchup, but it was just really good for me, so I might continue to play it, but I played it this time. And then 2 copies of Rivalry Warlords. I don't think you should play 3 personally myself. This card's good, but a lot of people are preparing for it now, and they'll just play around it. So I'm just playing 2, but like it's powerful enough that you should still play it. I played 1 Imperial Order. Enough said. And then I had 1 extra slot, so I played 1 copy of Storming Mirror Force in the main. This card was actually really good for me. People just weren't playing around it, and they got punished for it. So that was my main deck. It is 40. Then we'll go into my extra. We had my boy and 4 different tokens. And then for the extra deck, we played 3 copies of Hexia. This is honestly the only extra deck monster I really made. And there were multiple games I made 3 of them, so there's no reason not to play 3. Then Link Karibo, one of the only other ones I made. And then we played Clara and Rishka. Only reason I play this is because we play Rivalry, and it's the only Link one you can make when you draw Milliseek when you have it face up. Same thing with Akashic Magician. It's the only Link 2 you can make with Rivalry up. Never made Phoenix. I made Unicorn once. I didn't play Cerberus. There was no need. I played Triple Burst Dragon. This card's really good against Sky Strike matchup. I only played 1, and I never got to make it, so there's that. 1 Borreload. Just really there to out other Borreloads, plus it's a Cherries target. And then for the dedicated Cherries targets, technically you can make this. However, I never made it, and then I think this is the best card you can hit against Goki when they're trying to extra link you, because if you hit the Nightmare Goblin, they don't get the additional normal summon, which is really important, and they can't really U-board you without this card, so I think it's more effective to hit this card than anything else. They can still end on a sick board, but you're still able to play, and that's the big thing. 1 Kagari for Sky Strikers. Same thing with Shizuku. If they open Ray, you still want to be able to hit something. I thought Pendulum would be more represented than Spiral, because in all honesty, if you're playing Spiral, you're playing a less consistent version of Goki, and you'll probably end up playing Goki anyway, so I played this. And then I played 1 ABC Dragon Buster, because St. Louis is notorious for having ABC players, so I went to that. But 7 of my 8 rounds, Cherries did nothing for me, so there's the story behind that. And then for the side deck, I played 2 copies of Border. This was mainly for the mirror, and then Trickstar. It's weird, because like it's good against Trickstar Sky Striker, and it's really good against Pure, but like Trickstar Sky Striker can out it a lot easier, so it depends. My favorite blowout monster was Thunder King Raiho. I sided this in a lot. Like a lot of decks just can't play, they can't play around it. Like it's a 1900 that says you can't search. Like the card's phenomenal. Like I really liked it. And then on to the traps. I played 3 copies of Heavy Storm Duster. I ended up playing Paleo. I never played the Mirror, but like this is like for those types of decks. And True Draco, and this card's just insane against them. For my spicy side deck tech for Goki, even though I didn't play a single Goki, I played 3 copies of Vanity's Call. So for those of you who don't know what this card does, you can only activate it as Chain Link 4 or higher. But when you do, you pay half your life points, and if you do, you negate everything in the chain previous to this card's activation, and if you do, destroy it. So whenever they do their Isold play, this is one of them, but they do their Isold play and they try to chain block you, where they go like Isold Chain Link 1, we'll say random Goki Monster Chain Link 2, random Goki Monster Chain Link 3, you flip any of these calls Chain Link 4, and it negates everything in the chain. So if you flip this, it's a blowout, and they usually can't recover from it, so... But I never sided in because I never played Goki, so there's that for you. And then I played 2 copies of Wiretap and 2 copies of Magic Deflector. I finally got a Wiretap and evenly matched. That felt really good. And like I said, this is for the Mirror and any trap decks. I was really good against the 1 Paleo player I played because he tried Heavy Storm Dustering me and I said no. And then we have the 2nd copy of Storm Mirror Force. It just depends on the matchup I thought I was really good against. And to be perfectly honest, if my opponent didn't see Storm Mirror Force Game 1 against me, and they seemed like they were overly aggressive, I would side in the 2nd copy so I have a more frequent chance of seeing it, and to be perfectly honest, it paid off. So, that was the deck profile for you guys. On to my matchups. My round 1 was what I like to call the free round, because I always play something really interesting, but it's always a free matchup. And this logic turned out being right. I ended up playing Lair Darkness the deck, and Kid was super nice, but it was an easy 2-0. Round 2, I played against Invoke Cyber Dragon. I braked Game 1, so he got that. Game 2, I smacked him up pretty good. And then Game 3, the more and more I think about it, I'm pretty sure I just misplayed because we're in like a simplified game state where he had He was drawing into Cyber Dragon Dre, if I remember correctly, and he had a Cyber Dragon and a Nova on the... Not Nova, but Infinity that already used its negation. And I've had a Milliseek on 4. For some reason, I didn't tilt the Milliseek into attack position to attack and send the Cyber Dragon Infinity. Instead, I tried just clearing the 1 card, and then I just left it there, and I ended up losing the game, which was unfortunate because I would have been drawing into Multi-Faker with Set Protocol, and I'm pretty sure I could have won that game, so that was my fault, losing that one. Let's see, then the 3rd round I played against a Trickstar player, which the guy seemed nice enough, and he was playing Trickstar, but he had no idea what my deck did at all, or what the meta did for anything. So I kept having to explain my cards to him, and kept doing that and doing that and doing that. We ended up being in a draw. I would have easily won that match if I would have just been like, hey, we need to speed it up because you're slow playing. But I didn't feel like being that guy. So that's also my fault. So the loss I took there and the draw were completely within my power to stop. I just didn't because I didn't want to be that guy. Round 4, I played again. For all of you guys who knows about the kid who always plays Teledad at every event he goes, so I ended up playing that kid, and he was actually really cool, and his deck was super saucy, but I won that one. The next match, let's see, that's 4 rounds. My round 5, I played against... What did I play against? Oh, I played against Pure Sky Striker, and that kid was really, really cool. Like, I enjoyed our match. It just... He had the stones, and I couldn't stop it. Round 6, I played against True Draco. He braked both of the games, and I just had way more advantage than he did. My round 7, I played against Tricktar Sky Striker, and that matchup was really good. However, I had everything to stop. I had the answers for everything he did. And then round 8, I played against Vendread, my deck, and we had a 40-minute game 1, and we were top decking. And then he had the final turn, and I had 950 life points, and he had 400. And then as he drew for turn, they called time, and it's a good thing they did because he would have summoned and killed me for game. But I ended up winning that match. It was a really good matchup. So my overall record was 5-1. And then, funny story, I got in by the skin of my teeth at 32nd place. So I thought it was pretty funny. My buddy Doug thought it was pretty funny too. But hey, we got there in the end. But that was my regional report for the St. Louis Regional. Always remember to like, comment, subscribe, guys. The next event you'll probably see me at, I'll probably be at the 200th YCS. Hopefully we do have some success there, and I can bring you guys some pretty cool stories on that one. But until next time, thanks for watching.